Hello, lads and ladies, and welcome back. It's Thursday night. We never normally do this on a Thursday night, but games on Tuesday, games on Wednesday. Fleetwood played last night means, well, an extra League One show helping hand for you. Now, it's been a busy week in Sky Bet League One, been a busy week in the Football League Pyramid, and this is just a start. The next 5 weeks of football is going to be absolute hectic, and there's lots of shows. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay in the comments down below. Before we do so, let's bring him in, my co-host. Now, I wanted to get my brilliant co-host on. Unfortunately, Jack Goodwin wasn't available. I couldn't quite bring him back. Unfortunately, my mate from Birmingham didn't want to come on, so we've settled for him. And yes, again, we only noticed about a minute before we went on, we're synchronised in T-shirt colour as well. We don't do it on purpose.
Great minds think alike, nappers, don't they? Hey?
They do. How are you, mate?
We're even asking each other the same questions, Ben. This is weird. Next week's going to be really weird, isn't it? We should maybe just do League One live from this very location. But yeah, no, I'm good, mate.
We should do a stream, shouldn't we, or a video? We'll make a video of some sort next week.
Right. Now that sounds
League One.
Thank you, Ben. Just because all the people viewing, that's not what he meant. However,
if you want to remember, pay not to see it.
Yeah. Yeah, it costs you a bit more than the $1.99 a month though. The membership costs you on this channel. But yeah, no, I'm good, mate. I will confess I didn't go to our game on Tuesday. I had family issues, so I wasn't able to get down to Rotherham, unfortunately. However, I've been able to watch it back. But yeah, no, I'm good, mate. I'm looking forward to this. I know it's been a chaotic. It feels like we're about to get busy, doesn't it? It feels like we're about to be. I don't know how you feel, Ben, but with podcasting and doing this and doing what else we do, I feel like I'm already been pretty flat out the entire season, and it's about to get tenfold busier. So I think we're going to be in for it.
I feel totally the opposite. I feel I've been very frustrated this season. I felt it's not got going at all, and I've been waiting for this moment for especially content, because I feel if I'm honest with you, my content I produce has been pretty naff all season, to be honest with you. So I'm glad that there's been an opportunity now to have content. Obviously, I was at the Fleetwood game last night. That was pretty naff as well. And then we've got League One tonight. We've got a League One team of the season so far coming out tomorrow. Saturday away at Swindon. Sunday League One live. Monday night, no League Two live. Something very different will be taking its place from future episodes. But before further ado, let's get into the show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Oliver Rathbone, that is all. Hello, John. Hope you're well. We're in the top half. Yeah, somehow. Welcome, yeah. Will there be a League Two? Now, League Two, I'm going to be honest with you, I wanted to change it up. If I'm honest with you, 2 live streams back-to-back in both nights with work sandwich in between is very, very tough. And I'm going to totally be honest with you, I've not enjoyed doing League Two live this year. And that's nothing against Jack, because I'm going to still be working with Jack on something on League Two. What is going to be happening is there's basically just going to be a 20-minute roundup. Still the same amount of detail will go into it, but we'll cover 3 or 4 main games of the big games of the weekend, and then other games will maybe get a minute and a half. Be a bit more fast-paced, where I feel I can add something a little bit more. But there is still going to be League Two content as well. Hello, Ben. Hope you're well. Bristol Rovers are a disgrace. We'll come to them as well. So if you haven't already, please like the show. Also subscribe. We are 59 away from 16,000 subscribers.
Right.
So
come on, people. Come on. Get your dogs to subscribe. This man needs it.
Exactly. Charlton 1, Crawley 2. Charlton won 4 of their first 6, drew 1, lost 1. Since then, they played 11 games, mate, and they've lost 6, they've drawn 3, they've won 2. So that's what, 6 points from 9 points from a possible 33. They beat Birmingham and Burton, and a couple of decent draws in there. But I said at the start of the season their performances wasn't sustainable. They were winning 1-0, being very good defensively. Their lowest expected goals in the division, still down there in terms of attributes. Crawley only beat Charlton with an expected goals of 0.46. So they are very hard to play against. They are very, sitting a low block, and you know what you're going to get. It's kind of 4-3-1-2, very narrow, 4-4-2 at times, 4-3-3. If you like, as well, really solid. Gillespie's, Mitchell's, Edmonds Green, very solid, Nathan Jones-esque, and it's a good thing that. But you can't always win 1-0. And when they concede the first goal, they look flat out on the feet. They look void of ideas. They got back into the game, but then obviously they concede, 14, 15 minutes later. And Crawley had some really good chances in the game. They could have had 3 or 4. This Charlton side, just quickly before we come to Crawley, you look at the wins. Shrewsbury and Wigan away 1-0. They beat Bolton 2-0 at home. Beat Birmingham at home 1-0. Beat Burton away 1-0 as well in there. But they were all tightly knitted games, and they weren't great watches. Are you surprised at this downfall? Because I'm not at all.
Not at all. I was speaking to Josh Wilcox yesterday, because obviously we play them on Saturday lunchtime, and I was really surprised when I joined they do the Charlton Chronicles, don't they, on a Wednesday night, and I joined, and they were talking about Nathan Jones, and of the 4 panelists, all of them said they were Jones out after the defeat against Crawley, which really surprised me, because I remember Ben putting I don't know if you saw this, I did a 1 to 24 of League One managers, and I put Nathan Jones pretty high up, and people were saying to me, Nathan Jones needs to be higher for everything that he's done and the coach that he is. And now all of a sudden, they're on this really bad run and they're not winning games. And we said it, Ben, didn't we, at the start of the season? They were winning games for next year of 0.2. They maybe had 3 or 4 chances in the whole game, and they were taking them. And because they were so good at the back, Lloyd Jones and Alex Mitchell started this really good partnership. And then since Lloyd Jones has been out of the team, I was on FaceTime to him earlier.
You need to get in touch with him, by the way.
Who I do?
Yeah.
No, I don't. We're all good.
Yeah, you do. Open your wallet and go and see him.
Right, okay. Thanks. Can I continue on Charlton, or are we...
Yeah, go on, carry on.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. It was unsustainable. And Lloyd Jones has come out of the team, and all of a sudden they've lost that massively defensive solidity that they had. And what I also doesn't help that they've chopped and changed goalkeepers a little bit. You're looking at it, Mannion's played 1 game, Ashley Maynard Brewer's played another one. So there's no consistency at the back, and I feel like that's massively contributed to them dropping the way down. I love that from Charlie. That is fantastic from Charlie.
Wow.
That one.
Wow, what do you mean yellow?
Yellow card, Black Leopards, for what you just said. Dissent is what it is. Anyway, unsustainable essentially. So they're really poor.
I think one thing I will say on Charlton, right? At the start of the year, it's the togetherness of this group. It's unbelievable. 1-0, bodies on the line. Get in there. 1-0 set piece. Who cares? It's winning football. We'll get better. We're winning games, not playing well. We get in there. Nathan Jones, tapping his, the badge and fist pumping. Get in. What a gaffer. We've all been there when we've been winning 1-0 away from home. Tightly contested game, especially when Charlton have been so crap in recent weeks, where they haven't mustered anything. In League One, let's be honest, since they beat Sunderland and obviously they went through that playoff and they've come down to League One, they've been pretty abject, if we're being honest with it. They've been nowhere near the standards that football club should be at, and they signed well in the summer, but the performances didn't get any better. Let's be honest with it. But what did happen is the plan B wasn't there to be shown, and they were getting punished for the mistakes they weren't getting punished for earlier this season. And it will happen. I'm seeing it at Fleetwood now. Yesterday, we finally got punished for mistakes we've made in previous games that poor sides conflict, whereas a decent side at our level beat us for. You see it all the time. I watched League One for 10, 11 years, and I understand that teams go through these. I looked at Shrewsbury last year. It wasn't sustainable. It didn't last. Whereas when you look at Wycombe, their results, I was about to say results then, following Harry Redknapp, is sustainable because the performances have been good. And you can win 1-0 all you like, but for me, they look nothing other than a team not going to finish mid-table. They look like they're not going to threaten. I thought they were okay in parts yesterday, but I thought Crawley, so I mentioned on them, were outstanding. And they've gone to this gun-ho style approach where they look so threatening, and they had a lot of chances from outside the box. And one of the goals was a shot from outside the box that the keeper parried, and obviously it came and was flicked in. Really good result on the road. They've got a few good results now, at home, but now backing up away from home. Great result outside of that bottom four. Maybe. Could go unnoticed and stay in the division.
Yeah, I liked Crawley. I really liked their approach on Saturday. I didn't like it because they made us go 2-0 down, but I've just spoken to them about that, so don't worry about it. We're all squared up. I quite enjoyed it. They were quite refreshing. They were going forward, and they had a lad, I think he scored on Tuesday night, Ben Shawunmi, centre forward.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Yeah, I thought you were. Do you not know the centre back that plays for? He played in League Two a lot for Bromley, for Yeovil, Omar Suwunmi, similar sort of name. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't say.
You ain't got to have you. Anyway, I liked the style that Rob Elliott's trying to implement. It's taken them a bit of time to do it, and to be honest, Ben, if anyone's seen the best of Crawley, it's probably been me, because they whacked us 3-0 last month. Not last month, the month before. And they were good on the counter. Yeah, thanks, mate. Hepburn Murphy was fantastic that night, and I think they've been able to build bodies around him. So this Shawunmi fella, really good finish from him. And yeah, do you know what? As long as they keep picking up points, they might lose 2 or 3 in a row, Ben, but if they can get a few key important wins, you're probably looking at they need another maybe 28, 29 points. What are they on now, Crawley? They'll be on what?
They're unbeaten in 5.
How many points are they on?
So they're unbeaten in 5. They've drawn away at Burton 0-0. Drew at home to Huddersfield 2-2 in a game. Probably could have won, to be fair. Drew away at Bristol Rovers 0-0. And then beat Rotherham 1-0 at home, and then beat Charlton away. And look, they're on 19 points from 18 games. The first target is always 50 points. If they go on a run,
I don't think you need 50 points this year, Ben. I think they could get away.
We need about 45, 46.
I think they could get another. I think they need another 25.
They have got Birmingham, Posh, and Stevenage coming next, which is, look, if you go and get 3 or 4 points from that,
games they're not going to be expected to get anything from, like last night, and they can show last night that they're really effective. Crawley are really effective at sitting deep and hitting on the counter really quickly, because they've got a lot of pace in that team. Hepburn Murphy, Shawunmi, Adi Adiemo, he's extremely quick and powerful. So it's a real strength of theirs. And when they play the likes of Peterborough, when they play is the game against Stevenage at the Lamex, or is it at Crawley?
Lamex, yeah, I think.
So they're going to have to play.
Is it Crawley?
Okay, so away games, they're going to have to play on the counter attack, and it's going to. I think that's going to really suit them. I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing Crawley pick up more points away from home than we see them picking up at home.
Sometimes when a manager leaves, and this will sound mad, Rob, Scotland did an unbelievable job. But maybe him leaving and Rob Elliott coming in, some new ideas when they were just starting to trail, and maybe he was a bit disappointed with the backing he got over this, and that can lead to, a bit of frustration that we can't keep calm. Someone else is delighted with the opportunity of managing these players. There's a new excitement, and they're unbeaten in 5. And, they were really good against, on the day, a pathetic Lincoln side as well, weren't they?
Thanks,
that they beat 3-0. Stevenage 2, Northampton 0. Well, Stevenage had to wait till the 89th minute to unlock a stubborn Northampton side. Now, Tom Eaves gets booked early on for a little bit of an alteration with Carl Pidriani. And
an alteration?
Yeah, well, one thing I'll say, right? Is it me, right? I always call it the ref bottling out procedure, right? There's a bit of 50-50, right? Where one of them probably should be sent off normally, right? Say if someone strangled and, you pushed
what happened?
No. Well, listen to me.
You know what happened?
Yes, I do. I watched the highlights.
He grabbed his face mask.
I know.
He grabbed him by the face mask and was ruffling him around.
He's an absolute...
He's a thug. He should have been sent off.
But one thing I'll say, right, the referee loves it, right? Is it me? Yellow card for you, bottling out, doesn't have to make a big decision. And then about 15, 20 minutes later, Tom Eaves goes into a challenge when Stevenage are on the counter-attack. and they go down to 10 men. Northampton, yes, they haven't won in 5 or 6. They've drawn 3 of those games. On the 9th of November, which was about, 3.5 weeks ago, they drew away at Birmingham City in the last minute. They've got some decent points of late. They've not been doing too badly. But on Tuesday night, an expected goals of 0.04. No shots on target. 1 shot in the whole game. They had 76 passes. They were pretty lackluster. This goes back to the Kettering game, I think, as well, where, again, a sustained period of bad results and bad performances. I will also say they've only scored 9 goals at home, which is pretty abject. John Brady was sacked or left the football club.
He wasn't sacked. He
left the football club, walked, whatever you want to say. What do you think's happened there?
Well, I've actually, in preparation for tonight, I spoke to Charles from the It's All Cobblers to Me, and what the conversation from what we had was that John Brady essentially feels he's taken Northampton as far as he can. Like, let's be honest, Ben. Northampton are a team that are between the top of the 4th tier and the bottom of the 3rd tier, right? And John Brady got them where they finished last year, 14th, right? And they had all this star power, didn't they? They had Mark Leonard, they had Kieran Bowie. They had some really, really good players last season.
Herring.
And I think they've Sam Sherring and I think what's happened, I don't think he was backed in the window the way that he wanted to have been backed. And I think he then feels that, I want to go on and manage at the top end of this league. Because let's be honest, John Brady's football last year, whilst it was maybe pragmatic, was quite effective because Northampton were very, very loosely in for maybe a late run at the playoffs because they were in and amongst it. I don't think they're ever going to get there, but they were in the conversation, kind of. So I think he will realise that he wants to go manage higher than that. But also, Northampton won't be able to offer him that. And I think what he's done is he's got to 200 games as Cobblers manager, and he's gone, do you know what, that's a real achievement. Because beforehand, Ben, he's been managing in the local non-league scene. He's been part of the academy, part of the setup. So to manage 200 games, to get a promotion, and we talk about how good he was that year that they didn't get promoted, to go again and get promoted in the manner that they did, really impressive. So I think John Brady's stock is actually quite high. I think that when we see a League One casualty coming up, I think John Brady will automatically be one of the favourites because of what he's done in this league. So I don't know. I think he's taken them as far as he can go because I know Northampton are in the relegation zone now, but I think John Brady's stock is probably a little bit higher than that.
I will say losing Callum Morton was massive for him as well. So you take Callum Morton through injury, right, who has found a home there. Losing Mark Leonard, losing Sam Sherring, Bowie, 4 big names. And a few months ago, they were conceding goals for fun. I think they conceded about 10 in 3, didn't they? I think it was away at Wrexham. They got beat badly as well. Bolton away. Bolton at home, so they conceded 4, lost 4-2, scored 2 late goals from memory, like the last couple of minutes as well. And they weren't playing great stuff. And this started actually after the Lincoln game at the end of October. 6 games. One thing I will mention, 16 games this year for Sam Hoskins. He scored 1 goal. Last year, he scored 15 in 38. He got Player of the Month in November this time last year. And after that Fleetwood game, I think he scored something like his 11th goal of the season. That's 5 goals in his last something like 30, 35 League One games. That has to be mentioned. The dip off in form for Sam Hoskins. And, they were winning games tightly by a goal, 2-1, 2, the odd 2-0 in there. And what they were really good at was beating the poor sides last year. Fleetwood, was one of those, especially at home, an important part of the season. They absolutely went to town. They beat Crawley a few weeks ago as well. That's what they've been good at. They could beat the bottom 6, the bottom 8. They had a really good record for a large part of the season. I pointed it out that how good they were, especially against the bottom 8. And against the top 12, they were nicking points. Barnsley away, were nicking a point from. And they were frustrating to play against. Just, they've not got enough quality in the final third. Pinnock, again, doesn't offer too much for me in terms of goals. And, he's a fantastic player, Otherwoods, but he scored twice this season. You're looking at your Hoskins, hasn't scored enough. Eves, Tyler Roberts. They've lost a bit, they've lost something there. And Hoskins isn't the same player. Bowie scored a lot of goals. Morton is injured. Cameron McGeehan plays all over and he's good. But this is a squad that I felt was weak, was very weak compared to last year. And I thought was sleepwalking into League Two again. And you always see this second season syndrome in League Two, in League One and League
Especially
Two.
with Northampton.
Especially with Northampton, we've seen it before. And I thought the business in the summer was very poor. And other sides around them got better. Look, they're still a decent side. They win games of football regularly enough. But they've won 4 and 18 this year. That's not a great record. They've lost 8. The goals scored has dried up as well. They've only scored 19. Conceded 25, pretty Northampton side. But for Stevenage, we'll get on to it. Good result for them. The 14th. They're 4 points above Northampton. They played a game less, but they've been pretty abject this year. They've only scored 13 goals. Having a shot on target's been a chore for them. This Alex Ravel, I feel if he was 10, 15 years older, there'll be questions asked. But because he's this young, trendy manager, I think that he gets away with it from a certain aspect of Stevenage fans. However, in recent weeks, there has been big questions asked because performances haven't been good enough. And I will go back to it. When they were getting results earlier this season, they were not playing well. They were getting through it by the skin of the teeth. And I ask for that all the time. And I'm seeing, I'll bring it back to Fleetwood again. I'm watching Fleetwood.
Like you, Nappers.
And I think Fleetwood are a really dull watch, right? And it's only a matter of time before yesterday that we were going to get absolutely hammered at home, where I thought, fair play. And it happened yesterday, and it will happen. Those results will turn. And I worry about Stevenage long term. They don't concede chances, but they don't concede. Good result for Stevenage, 2-0. They needed it, and big goal, Reedy. He's had to wait a while, but he's finally got that first elusive Sky Bet League One goal. And I said at the start of the year, my Sky Bet League One unpopular opinions, that man would not score over 10 goals this season. And I got absolutely crucified. He's got one. He scored 22 in all comps last year. Jamie Reid, by the way.
I sort of agree with you on Alex Ravel. I think if Alex Ravel was the same age that he was, but hasn't had the experience with Stevenage in terms of he's managed them before. If he's an external appointment, because he'd come up from the coaching staff last year, I think he'd be under way more flack than what he gets. I think Stevenage are a different side at the Lamex. At the Lamex, they seem to be a little bit better, a bit more free flowing. They line up with this 4-3-3, and they can be quite attacking. We've seen it before, Ben. We saw it against Barnsley, how they completely demolished them. They beat Wrexham at home. They've beaten Charlton at home. Their results not to be sniffed at. Stevenage are a very good, effective League One team at getting results at home. They are your traditional League One side who get results at home and struggle away from home. That is what Stevenage are, and they always sort of have been like that. Tuesday night, I think without the sending off of Tom Eaves, I don't think they win the game. I think 11 versus 11, Northampton were containing them pretty convincingly. Maybe I've got that. Maybe it's because I listened to the It's All Cobblers to Me podcast yesterday. That might be a skewed vision. I don't know. But I don't think they warrant it. It was only when they came up against 10 men that they were able to find the space and find the extra man, and therefore that's where the goals come from. Stevenage are a poor side. And Charlie's made a really good point there. If they'd have come lower mid-table, would this season be looked at differently? I think that start that they had to last season has raised expectations around Stevenage. You speak to some fans and they're thinking, oh, well, we're going to be top 10, top 12. And reality is, with their budget, with the manager they've got in charge, with that set of players they've got, they are never going to be, they're not good enough to be a top 10 side. They've maybe got some players that maybe could play for a top 10 side in a different system, but the way Ravel sets them up, it's not great, and they don't score enough goals. And I'm with you on Jamie Reid. I didn't think he was very good last season, so I'm very surprised. I'm not surprised at all that he's not scoring a lot of goals. I think Jamie Reid was a player, Ben, that a lot of these players that are playing at Stevenage at the minute are Steve Evans players. If these players were playing at Rotherham, I think they'd be doing a lot better. Put it that way. I think, and if you had Steve Evans in charge of Stevenage, they'd be doing a lot better because they're Steve Evans players. They're limited technically, but they'll win a fight. They'll scrap. they will not purposely injure, but they will. Do you know what I mean? They will play out. They'll play up to the officials like they did on Tuesday night in getting Tom Eaves sent off. Because when Tom Eaves gets a yellow card for that, what do you think is in Piergiani's mind? Let's just get him sent off, make the job easy for us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
game management.
They're a dull watch, Stevenage, and I don't know how Farley does it every week and has a smile on his face. Genuinely,
we've won a corner. We're 26 minutes in and we've covered 2 games. So we do really need to crack on. Exeter 2, Wycombe 2. A fascinating start in this one. 2 goals inside the first 22 minutes for Exeter. Then Wycombe show why they are currently top of the table. Never get too high, never get too low, as Lowe pulls one back for the Chairboys. Then Cameron Humphreys running forwards, playing forwards, getting a superb goal for the Chairboys to level things up. A good point on the road for Wycombe, who the streak ends. Extra score with both shots on target. For Wycombe, again, it's another game unbeaten. It's another game without a defeat. It's now 15 now without a loss. It's 1 game without a win, though. He's got to go, right? Matt Bloomfield.
It's
Questions on the wall. Not good enough.
Not good enough. Birmingham are going to catch him at a canter at this rate, aren't they? Now, obviously, you will know, Ben, that the Lincoln game was late kicking off on Tuesday night. So I had a spare half an hour to try and somehow watch a League One game in the Lincoln Hospital waiting rooms. And I chose this one. Probably because I saw that Exeter 1-0 up, and that sort of intrigued me. And I thought Exeter started the game really well, really brightly. They put a lot of balls into the Wycombe box. They tested them physically. Josh McGuinness was a handful. And to be honest, they warranted going 2-0 up. But there's something about this Exeter team. I don't know if it's a mindset thing, but whenever they go in front, I always feel like they're going to concede. I always feel like this Exeter team are going to... I know they had that really strong run at the start of the season, but now they're conceding some pretty soft goals. And
set pieces as well.
This is what I mean. Yeah, I mean, you've got big players in there. Justine Kramer's a big lad. Josh McGuinness is a big lad. I'm surprised they're conceding from set pieces, but we've seen it before, haven't we? Aaron Morley into Joe Lowe. How many times have we seen that so far this season? Like, so many. Joe Lowe is so effective with his head. And that goal is the crucial one, Ben, isn't it? Because that one gives Wycombe hope going into sort of the back end of the first half and into the second half. And then ultimately it's only sort of 10 minutes after the interval that they're able to call themselves level. A player that I want to give a lot of credit to, Ben, is Dan Harvey. I think his signing went massively under the radar. But I don't know about you, Ben, but I can remember Dan Harvey and the MK Dons team from 21-22 that were a monster with Scott Twine. And he played left wing back, and he was like unbelievable for them. And I think he just works. His energy, his technical ability, his ability to put the ball on a 6 minutes into the box. He's been a really handy pickup, and I think he goes under the radar. So, yeah, I mean, you're disappointed if you Wycombe because you then had 35 minutes, 40 minutes to go and win the game of added time, and they had a couple of chances, but you know sometimes the clinicality of Richard Kone is just not going to be there for them. And to go away to Exeter and get a point is a good result, especially the situation that they were in. So I think they can be grateful. And look, still top of the table, right? Wycombe Wanderers are still currently above Birmingham and Wrexham. If you'd have said to a Wycombe fan that after the first game week in December, you'd be top of the table, I don't think many of them would have believed you.
No, 100%. If you could like the stream as well, that is massive. So make sure you press that like. And if you haven't already, press subscribe. 58 now away from 16,000 subscribers. Now, Reading went into the playoffs on Tuesday evening. 30 points from 17 games, which is incredible. They've won 7 of their 8 home games, only lost once in that run. And it's a phenomenal period. They've had the only loss to Leyton Orient at home, which was 1-0. To win 9 out of 17, they've been improved away from home. And that squad the other day, you look at it, there's lots of young talent in there, but the likes of Wing, the likes of Kamara and Smith and Binden and Dorset that were there have been in around the football club for a little while now, settling in. To go and beat Cambridge 3-0, a side that you want to finish above, is unbelievable. Ruben Sellers has done unbelievable things at that football club. And I will go to far and say that I put him in my top 3 managers last year because of the job he did. You know, the unity he had. And I sometimes think it's a bit easier when you've got no pressure on you at all. But everything went against him last year with points deductions. And it wasn't like a Wigan where they had, right, you're getting 8 points. It was, right, you're going to get 4 here, you're going to get 2 here. Oh, and then they had one in about the late February time, I think the 3rd week in February, had another 2 points deducted. Because I remember going to Port Vale thinking, oh, there's another, but they kept winning games of football. And it's likely that he's about to leave for Hull City. There's a vacancy there. He hasn't quite left yet. But Ruben Sellers has won 34 of his 77 games as Reading Football Club manager. Now, I went to their ground on the 24th of October last year, which was about, 14 months ago now. And we beat them 2-1 in the last minute, and there was genuine chance to get him out of the football club. 14 months later, they now wouldn't have any other manager in the Football League over him. The job he's done to transform that football club, it's I can't put into words what they've been through. You look at depressing football clubs to support. The one joy about that football club was Ruben Sellers that glued it together and gave them a team to be proud of. And he's likely that, and you can't blame him, he's going to leave the football club.
Yeah, don't know, Ben. I've actually got a screenshot of a video that we did 3 weeks ago. We uploaded it. Don't know if you can remember that. The ranking every Sky Bet League One manager. The screenshot that I've got has you pulling a weird face. So don't read too much into it. But Ruben Sellers is in that elite category. And I think we gave a really good explanation for it in terms of he's worked at Reading with his hands tied behind his back. And he's brought results. He's brought performances. Reading were probably one of the best teams that Lincoln played last season. And they finished, 17th? The points deductions, everything they went through. I think it took not only a good football manager, but also a good person to go and do that job at Reading. You know, knowing the circumstances, knowing that 1 month he might not get paid, knowing that he can't bring any of his own players in. And for that, I think you have to commend him. And I put a tweet out on this earlier, and I've seen a lot of Hull fans actually quite underwhelmed by the appointment of Ruben Sellers. And I've just thought, hold on a minute, this is a little bit prestige for my liking. You are clearly not seeing the job in which he's done. He's introduced a really good style of football. The players that they have brought in under him have been really useful. Nibs, Smith, Lewis Wing, Charlie Savage is another one of his lot. Tyler Binden, I know he's
signed 4 in 4 days, didn't they? I think it was Nibs, Savage, Wing, and there was another one. There was 4 in 4 days.
All of these lads that have affected the first team, even their academy lads, Ruben Sellers has brought them through. I know he's had no choice, but he's made them feel good enough and brave enough. And everyone a lot of people had Reading to go down last year, and they were nowhere near it. That's how good they were. And that record at home, I think, well, I've had this chat with Ben from the Fan Zone podcast about, he thinks that the move to Hull isn't a good one for him. I think it's the perfect move for him. It's an opportunity to go and work at a club that are well backed. They've got a really good young squad, including maybe having one of the brightest young centre-backs in the country in Charlie Hughes at the heart of it. They play a good brand of football. I went to watch Hull the other week against Portsmouth, and I know they got caught out, but I think a Ruben Sellers team wouldn't get caught out the way that they did against Portsmouth. So, yeah, Reading will be absolutely gutted because Ruben Sellers has done so much for them, not only on the pitch, off the pitch. I went in April, Ben, and you went the other week, didn't you, in the FA Cup? And
yeah,
you can really sell. You can say, I want to say they're called the 1870 something club that stand near the away end. 1871, is it? We'll call it that.
I'm not sure.
The connection between Ruben, the players, and that particular bunch of fans, it was just amazing to watch. He'll be massively missed, and it's an opportunity that he deserves. I don't think anyone could begrudge him of it. Like I say, he's going into it. Yeah, thank you, Adam. He's going into we were right. He's going into a really good club, an ambitious club. You know, they finished 7th a couple of years ago. Perfect move for me. Going to get backed. Unfortunately for Reading, I think they might lose 1 or 2 of the players. I think Lewis Wing's from the northeast, so he might well go up to Hull, which would be a shame for Reading. But just on Tuesday night, I thought they were excellent. Again, everything that Ruben Sellers stands for. Really good in possession, really good out of possession, caused Cambridge loads of issues and maybe should have had more than 3. But yeah, really, really good manager. And he will be a loss to Sky Bet League One, Ben. I will miss covering Ruben Sellers. I won't miss him in 2 weeks when we play them, but I will miss him because he's just a top gaffer.
Yeah, 100%. Get your thoughts in. Keep liking the show and keep your questions coming. Leyton Orient 3, Bristol Rovers 0. Again, Leyton Orient, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. In 3 goals before half time. Another result. Look, it's only the 5th result of the season. They're 18 points now, but you look at it, they're only 4 points off Charlton. So it was 13. So a couple of results, and this is where last year they came into clutch. They've got to go away at Wigan on Saturday. I think Burton at home is coming just before Christmas, and they've also got a trip to Oakwell just before Christmas Day. Bristol Rovers are 3 points in front of Leyton Orient, playing a game more. I've only won a game more. They've lost 9 times, Bristol Rovers, and look, the last 2 results we've had, I think, in the last 8 to 9 games have both been by a goal. They beat Mansfield and Shrewsbury. Bristol Rovers are 16th. There's been no progression in the last 12 or 24 months. And they've changed manager now from Joey Barton to Matt Taylor, and it hasn't changed. An absolute dicky bird. It hasn't. And I know there's off-the-field issues with Matt Taylor at the minute, and I wish him all the best, and hopefully everything goes okay and everything is all right in his personal life. And I'm not going to have a go at Matt Taylor, but this Bristol Rovers team they are the most consistently inconsistent team I've ever seen in my life, where they are such a mid-table side you wouldn't believe. And we got pelters for saying how I thought they were going to be between 11th and 16th. They'll win 1 week, then you won't see them for 5 games. They are good 1 in 5. And when they are good, they'll win or get a point. And the other day, they never shot on target. I thought the other day they were actually spineless. I thought they lacked a bit of tooth, a bit of get up and go. I generally thought, what are you doing? Like, Chris Martin, who did really well there last year, has struggled for injuries this year. I think he's only played 6 or 7 times as well. But the likes of Shaq Ford looks shot of confidence. He's been out with a lot for his performances this year as well. Raul Satoru hasn't been the same player as he was at Leyton Orient last year. Scott Sinclair, again, gives his all, but there's not enough quality in that final forward. And if you ask questions of Bristol Rovers side, you think we've got Bristol Rovers on Saturday, most teams have it down for 3 points. We can get 3 points. That shouldn't be happening. Bristol Rovers are a big football club at this level. The men used to be so intimidating to go to. And when they used to come away from them, you think, tough, stubborn team. You're not getting that now. And Bristol Rovers, I'll tell you this now, I would not be surprised if they got relegated this year. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, they're a club really on the down, aren't they? And despite having the budget that they've got, I'm actually quite surprised. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think they're settled, are they? Behind the scenes, they've had this massive change of ownership. They've had, change of roles. New people have come in. And bear in mind, Ben, their director of football, George Friend, it's his first ever job outside of being a player. Like, you can't tell me that a player who's just come out of the professional game is ready to be a director of football, a head of recruitment. It seemed just a little bit rushed for me. And I think that lack of prep is showing on the pitch. I don't think the players that Matt Taylor was allowed to bring in this year, I don't think many of them are Matt Taylor players, if I'm honest. I don't look at, you think of a Matt Taylor team, the team that was Exeter that got promoted, really, really quick, really physical. I don't really see any of that in the Bristol Rovers recruitment so far over the summer. And yeah, I think all this, there's been talk with the chairman. They've been talking to fans and things like that. I think it's just chaos. It's just absolute chaos. And every now and again, when you're not settled and you've got things going on behind the scenes and the players' minds are elsewhere, you get performances like you did on Tuesday night. Abject. I'm going to use that word. Pathetic. I didn't think they were any good at all. And like you say, to have no shots on target, I think the assistant manager came out, didn't he? Dave Horseman.
Forest Green.
And ex-Forest Green manager, and gave an interview. And by the looks of the comments, he was getting pelters in the comments for what he said. So, yeah, they've gone off the boil, haven't they? Because I think Bristol Rovers have had moments this year where they've looked good, but they've also had moments where they've looked really bad. Unfortunately, not to make it about Lincoln, but we played them the other week, Ben, and I saw that. I saw Bristol Rovers being really, really good, and I saw them being really, really bad in one game. Ignore the yellow card comment. Don't know. You got to give credit to Leyton Orient, though, Ben. As much as we will say Bristol Rovers are absolutely rubbish, Leyton Orient were good. They took the chances, and for me, their league position it tells a false story. They are better than certainly Crawley, probably on a par with Blackpool, Rotherham, Wigan, and they're certainly better than Bristol Rovers, like last night showed. So, yeah, good win for Orient, massive win for them, and they can start looking up now. I think that they can get to January, bring in some players. Hopefully, Richard Wellens is backed, and they're able to start pulling away from that bottom four, because they're nowhere near a bottom four side.
66 people in the chat, 30 likes. Get that like to 50. Let's see if we can do it. I watched Bolton Wanderers for the most part on Tuesday night. Surprise, surprise, Nappers. Is he a Bolton fan now? I did watch Lincoln as well. I watched 2 games at once. I watched Bolton and Lincoln as well. So what can I say? Now, Bolton started really well. I was impressed with the start, actually. And then they got off the gear after that, after the first 15 minutes, and it didn't get a goal. Mansfield came into it, had a couple of good chances. And I was thinking, they could be in. I think Keanu Back has had a chance as well. And they get the goal through Hiram Boateng. It's a good header, great ball in as well. Then at half time, Bolton have it all to do. The negative energy circle around the ground. And I'm a big believer in, as supporters, try and be positive, try and give off a good energy. Because if you're negative, that leads onto the pitch. The pitch leads onto the manager. Then results again. I think that the way fans feel can sometimes have an effect on results on the pitch. I'm a big believer in mentality. So be positive, Jake, when Lincoln lose games of football, as Sue tells you all the time. And then a stupid tackle from the goal scorer on Randall Williams, who just come on about 10 minutes previously. And they made a few subs, actually. They brought Lolos came on, and Dion Charles came off the bench as well. And they changed that game for me. It kind of turned it into the favour. Mansfield go down to 10 men. And then what follows is 3 goals in 10 minutes from Bolton. Dion Charles scores. It's a really good ball in. Victor Adebayo gets his goal as well. I thought he led the line really well the other day, offered a focal point as well. And then McAtee gets a goal and an assist. And McAtee is one of these players that he's not a 1 in 2. He's probably a 1 in 4 player. I think he's got something like 4 in 16 or maybe 4 in 17 this year in League One. So that proves my point. I think he got 11 last year for Barnsley, but 3 attacking players getting goals. Never mind, it's against 10 men. We mentioned Mansfield's run was tough, but for Bolton, that's 8 wins in 12. They've lost a few games in that period, but they're still in a decent place. They are 30 points after 17 games. They're only 2 points off Huddersfield. The football isn't great. I know Bolton fans aren't in a great place. But if they get promoted playing this way, very much like Derby last year, where Derby were in this situation where they wanted Warner and they'd win 1-0. He found a way to get promoted, and now Paul Warne's doing a relatively good job in the Championship.
Do you think Ian Everett's going to do that?
I don't, because I don't feel like he's got Paul Warne had the track record of, you thought, well, he's done it before. But just remember, nobody's won more games in the EFL than Ian Everett, considering he's managed the most games and he's got a super team.
Well, this is it. I don't know. The red card changes the game, Ben, doesn't it? Because beforehand, Mansfield were defending pretty resolutely and would have been full value for the point, but so many times this year, I feel like we've said it about so many players getting sent off petulantly, and Hiram Boateng is no other. And he really cost his team, because when you're playing against Bolton, Ben, are probably the worst team to play against with 10 men, because Bolton at their free-flowing best is difficult to contain with 11, because you've got the midfield runners, you've got the 2 number 10s to play off the main striker, or they switch it around and play 2 up front. You've got McAtee and Collins, or they can play McAtee up front with Charles, or they can bring on physicality with Adebayo. And last night, we saw it, Collins, McAtee, Shern's been a massive handful on that left-hand side. Josh Sheehan is a really good player. And Bolton like to have the ball. And when you go a man down against a team that love having the ball and are good enough to do something with the ball when playing against 10 men, you're pretty much up the creek without a paddle. And Bolton made that extra man count. I thought they, as good as Mansfield tried, they just kept getting pulled apart, really. And the 3 goals in the space of 10 minutes, shows that. And, Bolton, I know they've had a pretty, people are saying, they've had a naff start to the season, and I completely agree. It's not been good enough whatsoever. But they're 7th. They are 7th, Ben. They are only outside the playoffs on goals scored, and that's by 1 goal scored, by the way. It's, they're still in and amongst it very much. And I expect this Bolton team, because of the criticism that Ian Everett's had, I probably expect Bolton to back Ian Everett in January because they've stuck with him through all the criticism. Don't you? Don't you think they're going to back him?
Bolton's record against teams above them, not played Wycombe yet, played Wrexham and drew 0-0, lost to Birmingham away from home 2-0, played Huddersfield at home, lost 4-0, got beat away at Stockport 5-0, beat Reading away 5-2, beat Reading at home 5-2. My worry is them against better sides. And I don't think they played Lincoln yet, and I think they've got Barnsley to come. I don't know. Have they played Barnsley?
I mean, they haven't, but they probably have because Barnsley and Bolton play each other about 8 times.
Yeah, pretty much. They lost at home to Exeter. So their record then beat Blackpool. Their record against the better side, lost away at Charlton. That's the top 13, right? You look at the bottom half side, Stevenage were 14th, they beat them, beat Peterborough. I think they've still got Wigan to come. They've got Rotherham to come. They beat Crawley. They beat Leyton Orient away. They beat Northampton. They drew to Cambridge. Beat Burton and drew to Shrewsbury. So their record against bottom half sides there. Bear in mind, I've got nothing in front of me. I'm just got the BBC table. I'm just trying to remember what they've done there. So I might be out with a few, but that's...
He's a freak, that man. He's an absolute freak. No,
I've just got BBC Sport in front of me.
No, Ben, I know. You're just a freak. You're a supercomputer.
And I've done a lot of work on Bolton this year, believe me.
There's a surprise.
But I worry about them in big moments. Yes, they are doing well. They've won 9 out of 12. It's fantastic. Well done. It's brilliant. Unbelievable form. He's the Messiah. I get that. And he's done an unbelievable job. But there's only... John Brady has left the football club after taking Northampton so far. I just think that he's taken Bolton Wanderers so far. The next 6 to 8 to 10 games, when I see them against better sides, if he goes and beats big sides at home and gets results like he has done in previous years, I'll trust him. Smack my lighting. I'll trust him to go and get promoted. But in big games, I worry about him. Against Barnsley at home last year, they were lucky to go through that game. And if you get to the Championship, is he the right? I don't know. I really don't know at this moment in time. I have doubts. The winning games of football, I'm having doubts. What does that say? If those results turn, will come. We've got to get through it because we've covered 6 games. Next up, Blues. Alfie May's up to 50 goals. They beat Stockport. One thing I will say, that first half yesterday from Birmingham was phenomenal. Now, I watched a 10-minute highlight package, and the first half was absolute frantic. They had 3/4 of the ball, over 75% of the ball. Yes, they only had 2 shots on target, which they scored with. But the way they retracted the ball, I thought Anderson was unbelievable. And I think he was really good away at Lincoln, where he got an assist, didn't he? And was out. And he got 2 goals on the day where I can't remember the result. I think they won away at Lincoln after Drake said he's not fearful of Birmingham. A Birmingham fan actually came up to me going, "I'm so buzzing we beat Lincoln just because you're mate, you're smug, mate. Just shut him. So you've even got teams rattled, eh, mate?" But no, Alfie May, a brilliant performance again. Davis came out after and went unbelievable performance. That's the level he wants them at. And they beat a really good side. 36 points from 16 games. They are third. They've only lost 2 in 16. This Birmingham side, now we're getting a groove of games consistently together. They're going on a run. Barnsley, Bristol Rovers, Crawley, Burton and Blackpool to come in 2024.
So maximum points.
They could go and get 50 points and we haven't even hit 2025 yet. Go on the Blues.
I think, Ben, and you maybe disagree with me here, when Birmingham are fully fit and fully on it, Birmingham are by far the best team in the league. By far. They're...
Shock.
Yeah, I know it's not a surprise, but they are.
No, the phenomenal.
I think last night showed that, because this is a Stockport team that won 3 in a row. They've beaten Wrexham, who were above Birmingham. and had players like Louis Barry, who's in scintillating form, and they literally made them look like a bottom half table side. They were phenomenal all over the pitch. And I don't know, Ben, if you've seen the video of Chris Davis in the dressing room after the game, basically addressing.
Lincoln aren't in those top 6. I like that comment a lot.
I'm not going to read that. I really like that clip because it shows the unity between the head coach, who's not long been in the job, and also the group of players. They're just a phenomenal outfit, Ben, aren't they? They are just the way that they play. They dominate football, and to dominate Stockport, Ben, is no feat, because Stockport are a decent side and they have been on the road so far this year. But you look at the key performers. Alfie May obviously gets the headlines. You know, they can still win 2-0 against Stockport with Jay Stansfield not having a great night, with Williamson perhaps not playing at his best. But when you've got, I don't know if you've seen the clip of Paik down the left-hand side where he just completely breezes past a Stockport player and puts him on his arse. There's just levels, isn't there? And this Birmingham team, you know, they brought the likes of Mark Leonard, Lyndon Dykes, Luke Harris and Ethan Laird all off the bench. You know, Taylor Garner-Hickman and Lucas Jukovic both were unused subs. Ben, pretty much all of them probably getting most League One teams, and they're coming off the bench. So, yeah, they're unstoppable. I think they could well be talking about a team that are on 50 points before the turn of the year, because when one player doesn't step up, someone else does, and they've got the quality to do it. So, it's
wow.
They're just good, mate. They're just free flowing. Yeah, you can't stop them. You can't stop them because they're just that good.
They're not winning and playing poor football. They're winning and playing good football, and
champagne football.
Yeah, it is unbelievable. Now, I watched the other game. Rotherham United 2, Lincoln 1.
Oh. You son of a gun! That's not on. That's not on.
Your mate. There we are.
He's a criminal. He's a criminal.
How are we, Jake? Now, I watched this game, and you do annoy me, Lincoln City. I will say now, again.
We annoy you, do we?
Lincoln City should not be allowed possession or to dominate a game of football ever again. Lincoln City needs to go back to going, you have it 90% of the ball. We'll sit in. We'll be absolutely anti-football. We'll score 1. You'll score none. Escobar has got you playing some really neat, tidy, on-the-ground football. Yeah. Sometimes your players are overthinking it, and the honest answer is you haven't got a decent enough forward area that will go and score you regularly enough goals. Again, mistakes, set pieces, cross into the box, Lincoln looked vulnerable from, and they could have scored at the end. They could have, where there was a scramble. Good to see Jon van Makama score. I think it's the first game he scored.
What did you think about the celebration, Ben?
At that point, I'll be honest with you.
Go on. You've seen the celebration.
I wasn't in the room, but I saw the goal back. I didn't see the celebration.
Didn't like it.
Was it one of those?
No, it was one of them to the away end.
Didn't
go down very well, bless him.
Did it not? No, but if I was him, I'd probably keep them short after scoring about 2 goals in 15.
That's 2-2 now for him, though. So
2-2. There you are, good lad. Look, this Lincoln side will get better, but I'm worried how far they're going to run away. The 4 points off the playoffs now, playing the game more. So it's about sticking in there now, and we're not talking about sides sticking in there to stay in the division. These Lincoln side are probably at this moment in time where they should be. They're 9th in the division. They've got a 9th in the team division side. You know, they are lacking a centre forward. They've got a good enough 11 that would challenge, good enough 10 bodies in there.
You summed it up perfectly the other week, Ben.
If you put Joe Taylor on that side, I think they're the 4th best team in the division. I think they're better than Huddersfield, Stockport, Reading, Bolton, and Barnsley.
Yeah, but if we'd have had Joe Taylor in the last 6 weeks, we'd probably have taken.
I do worry though, whoever comes in January for Lincoln, if it's not Joe Taylor, whoever it is, he could be Cristiano Ronaldo, and I
have got a second choice.
Is it Lowe at Walsall?
Nathan Lowe. Yes, please.
I know you too well. Lowe.
You saw my tweet earlier, that's why.
I didn't see it. I sent it to you last week.
Nathan Lowe.
Freddie Draper vibes. Look, you're not having a bad season. You've lost
Can
your
I mention the
Rotherham away
referee?
from home. Steve, you're not good this time of year. Lincoln
Can I
don't like the
mention
cold.
the referee, please? Can I please mention the referee? Please.
There he is again.
Oh,
Referee watch.
Can I just say? Can I just tell you something? Right. So Lep, the guy who we do a podcast with, I got a text off him about 8 o'clock. Bear in mind, because we were 5 minutes, we were half an hour late kicking off, weren't we? And Lep sent me a message and said, the power's not gone on because Steve Evans thought the electricity cables were strawberry pencils and he started eating them and the power's gone out. And I just thought, oh God, that's absolutely hilarious. Yeah, look, Ben, last Tuesday night, seeing it back in full now, you'll say it, we didn't deserve to lose the game. I think first and foremost, we didn't take our chances. Yeah, Sue's right. I think we didn't take our chances, did we? There are moments there where Ben House maybe should score, Jack Moylan maybe should score. There's an opportunity, Ben. I don't know if you saw it in the second half where Jack. I don't know. I didn't go, so I don't know.
Jack Moylan, go on.
Jack Moylan is central of the box. There are defenders nowhere near him, and if he steps forward 3 yards, he can shoot and he can put it in the corner. Because Jack Moylan can do that. But what does he do, Ben? Have you seen it? Oh, I'll just pass it to the Rotherham defender. Why not? Yeah. Poor decision making. And that's what cost us. Poor defending as well. I'm not going to have a go at the referee for the second goal because look, there's a block in there on McCartney which stops him from covering Sean Raggett. But there's still 4 of the Lincoln defenders that should stop Sean Raggett before he gets his head on it. And plus, we've benefited from blocks from corners in our last 2 wins against Northampton and against Stockport. What I do have an issue with the referee was his lack of ability to make a big decision in the game. For the free kick for our goal, Zach Jules was the last man and should have been sent off for pushing the back on Ben House because Ben House is in on goal and it's denial of a clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity. And your mate Zach Jules, I should have known, he's an ex-Fleetwood boy, he's a thug, pushed him over. Yeah, thanks, Ben. There was a foul on Ben House from, I think it's Teehee, that was awful. And he gave a lot to Rotherham. And the referee is not the reason we lost the game. The reason we lost the game was because we couldn't take our chances. But I don't think the referee helped, put it that way.
Have you ever heard the expression pot kettle black? When you're slagging off Steve Evans for moaning at a referee, that every week that in my videos on Fleetwood when we lose.
No, Ben.
I don't blame the referee.
You've got a reputation to uphold. I don't care.
Have I now? Have I now? We'll be having words.
You got something on the tip of your nose, young man. Let me tell you.
Last night I said we weren't good enough, right? And I said that, but I won't blame a referee because.
Also, and Sue will tell you, Sue was there. There's a foul on Adam Jackson 8 minutes in, right? No. Look at Sue's comment. Look at Sue's comment.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to talk about referees.
It was poor, and if we'd had Jacko, I don't think we'd conceded the goals we did.
4 games left. 4 games left.
Can you fly through,
Shrewsbury
please?
2, Blackpool 1. Mal Benning.
No. Shrewsbury 1.
Shrewsbury 1, Blackpool 2. Sorry.
As a Blackpool fan, how have you got that wrong?
Shrewsbury 1, Blackpool 2. Mal Benning.
Come on, the
5 yards out. Now, my issue with Blackpool this year has been there's been a few issues for them this year, but goalkeeper issues have been nowhere near the standard. They lost Dan Grimshaw last year, who was one of the most underrated goalkeepers in the league last year. I thought he was in the top 3 best goalkeepers in the division. Some of the saves he made were an absolute joke at times, and he made one from late on against us. I thought, how has he kept that out? It's unbelievable. And they've tried it with his Tyra. And they've tried Richard O'Donnell. Richard O'Donnell at Bolton. Oh, my Lord. He came out of his box about 7 times and nearly lost it every single time. They put Tyra back in. You got promoted with Chesterfield, who won the league last year, who conceded 61 goals in the National League for a team that win the league, that were hardly peppered. So I have my questions about that. And as a big goalkeeper, how is he being lobbed from 55 yards out? horrific. But I tell you what, Josh Onoma, was without a club for a large Onoma. There you are for a large period of time, and was outstanding. Could have had a brace, yesterday, and was outstanding in the heart of that Blackpool team. Great performance on the road, and a couple of decent results are inside that top 12 now. Again, they've not been vintage this year, Blackpool, but it shows you how if you go and get a couple of decent results, you can get bounced back into that top 12.
Yeah, they were okay yesterday, weren't they, Blackpool? I don't think they were spectacular. They didn't get out of third gear. Looking at the stats, 3 shots on target, 2 goals, and one's their own goal. But it's a solid win for Blackpool, I thought. I mean, despite the disappointment of going behind through that really weird free kick, and I actually agree with what you said and what Jacob Pearce said in the comments about Tyra. I don't know. I think Tyra is the kind of goalkeeper there that makes shot. He's not really a goalkeeper that expects to be busy because he wants to play in a team that dominate possession, and Blackpool don't really do that. So I think when he's called sometimes to make the big saves, he often is found a little bit wanting. But yeah, I don't know. It was a good performance, like you say, a good win for them. Really important win because going to Shrewsbury under Gareth Ainsworth, we saw Birmingham went there 2 weeks ago and got turned over. So really good. Oh, Nappers, you'd throws for a second, and I wondered where you'd gone. Good performance by Blackpool. Really important because it just gets them back up amongst that mid-table gang, doesn't it? They're now on 26th from 18, same record as us. They are well and truly in the playoff race, and a good January transfer window. And there's no reason why this Blackpool team can't go on a run and find themselves in that top 6.
At Bolton away for Blackpool, I watched this game. He was the
Brighton
best.
Brighton low knee, centre back.
He was
really
outstanding. Good. He was
really
outstanding. He won everything. He was great bringing the ball. I looked at him and I thought, wow. The first time I've seen the lad, I thought, properly. I mean, and I thought this is some player that Blackpool normally do that. Blackpool recruit very well in terms of loanees. They're quite 4 out of 5 are quite good. You look at the ones they've had over the years, Ellis Sims, he was good at the time. But Elliot Embleton was very good at the first time round as well. Plenty to go off. Next up.
Sorry, you froze and your mouth was wide open. I was like, what on earth is going on?
My internet's playing up a little bit. Wrexham 1, Barnsley 0. A late winner. Oliver Rathbone, an absolute corker. They tested that Barnsley keeper a lot. They peppered him. And another gun-ho performance at home, but just getting over the line, finding a way to win. Tell you what, Aaron Morley, Callum Camps, Oliver Rathbone, just 3 of the regular midfielders from Rochdale over the years that they brought through that score goals from midfield. Great result for the boys from Wales.
Yeah, they're seemingly playing. They're seemingly winning games without really playing massively well. And the previous examples of that have maybe told you that there will be a significant drop-off from Wrexham, but this Wrexham team seems to be different. They seem to find new ways of winning games all the time. And I thought yesterday they had more shots, perhaps, than and efforts on target than Barnsley did. Not many of them were massively troubling to the Barnsley goalkeeper. And look, they got the job done, didn't they? Ollie Rathbone, we've seen him at this level before with Rotherham, haven't we? And Rochdale, like you mentioned, goal-scoring midfielder, likes to make those third-man runs and drive from the edge of the box. And it's a lovely finish into the corner. Barnsley, 2 shots on target from 11. Not a great conversion rate, is it? They had more passes, more possession, but they got Wrexham, didn't they? Because Wrexham like having none of the ball and all the chances, and they're able to do that again. I came on here, a week ago. I didn't make much of Wrexham then. However, if they're going to continue to win games where they're not playing massively well, that has to be admired. And Wrexham are, we're nearly halfway through the season now, but they're nearly on 40 points. It's incredible. They have done really, really well. And you'd imagine that when they're in that position, Rob and Ryan are going to dip their hand in the pocket in January and say, look, come to Wrexham, get a promotion on your CV and help us get to the Championship. And who isn't going to want to do that? It's a really attractive proposition. So, and you might get a star in a role in a film or something like that. But yeah, no, again, just a really, really impressive win. You're looking at the team that they played, Ben. So many of these names are regulars now in the side. Barnett, Cleworth, O'Connell and Brunt have made a really good, and McLean make a really good back five. Dobson's so industrious in the middle. You've got that, you label that up with Ollie Rathbone and Elliot Lee creativity. And I mean, they started Ollie Palmer yesterday, but they bring on the likes of Paul Mullin, Andy Cannon, Stephen Fletcher, really, really experienced and good footballers. So, yeah, this Wrexham team are the real deal, and they will they'll continue to win ugly. And you know, how many teams last year, Ben, said to Portsmouth, and we heard it, said, "Oh, Portsmouth weren't very good, but they still beat you." Wrexham are
finding a way, and that's what champions and teams that get promoted do normally. You know, they find a way. Talking about finding a way, Huddersfield Town 1-0. Not great watch. Find a way to win. Not great football, but better than the opposition. Don't concede chances. Deserve to win the game. Keep a clean sheet. Goal from Ollie Turton. 1-0 against Wigan, who were lacklustre pretty much. The expected goals of 0.42. Huddersfield had double on 0.84. Better maths there for you, Jakey boy. 17 shots to 7. Good result for Huddersfield, who are now getting in a groove. That's their 10th win of the season. And look, they beat Leyton Orient 2-0 last time. They beat Charlton 2-1 a few weeks ago. Went away at Crawley, found a way to get a point. Beat Exeter, drew away at Wrexham, beat Bristol Rovers, beat Barnsley in the Cup. And this is after a bad run. So you're looking at it there. That's 3 wins and a draw, 3 wins, 2 draws. That's 6 wins, 2 draws in the last 8. That's 20 points over 8. That's 2.5 points a game. If you do that over the full season, you're looking at, what, 115 points. That's how good they've been, sustainable. And they've got tough games coming up. They've got to play Lincoln at home. They've got Mansfield away, Cambridge away. But they fancy the chances to go get 6 points out of that minimum. 32 points, nearly 2 points a game. Duff has got his label stamp on this team. And yes, I know it was 2-1. Keep telling him.
Ollie Turton, that name gives me absolute shivers because of the playoff final a couple of years ago, Ben, if you can remember. Yeah, no, you know, I listened to the Progress of Unity podcast, which our good friend Charlie Keegan is a co-host on, and I think a lot of them, I think certainly Paul and Barry were in the thinking that maybe Wigan could have got something out of this game, and they had a couple of opportunities. Wigan seemed to be like the nearly men. They again, similar to like Leyton Orient, they get into some really promising areas on the pitch, but they're not able to pull that trigger. But I was impressed with Matt Smith in midfield. He's put in a really good performance. Tello Asgard is getting better and better by the week. I think he's a seriously top player, and I'd be surprised if we're not looking at interest from higher up the pyramid in January. But this Huddersfield team, Ben, the way I would describe them are effective. And that's a Michael Duff team down to a T. You remember his team that got promoted out of League Two with Cheltenham. You think about his team that got to the playoffs with Barnsley. Scrap that that little stint in South Wales, but an effective manager that has a identity. He knows how he wants to play football with that 4-2-3-1, and they play it really well. You've got Callum Marshall. I think it's been a really good signing. He was sort of brought in last minute, wasn't he, as a Joe Taylor replacement because they couldn't get Joe in, and he's played pretty well. Scored down at Leyton Orient in the was it last Saturday in their win. So yeah, they're effective, aren't they? They know what they're doing. They know the roles, and they're going to get better. Ben, we say this about Michael Duff teams; they just get better and better, and ultimately they go on and they get promoted or they finish in the top 6. Ultimately, Huddersfield are a team that I'm sort of shoehorning into finishing that top 6, but I'm actually really disappointed in Huddersfield, Ben, because they scored a goal at home, the opening goal of the game, and it wasn't Matty Pearson, it was Ollie Turton. Matty Pearson normally scores the first goal of games at the John Smith, so looking forward to seeing him score in a couple of weeks. But yeah, no, it was a good performance from Huddersfield, and I think Wigan can take positives, but I think they just need to be a bit more ruthless, Wigan, for my liking. They don't quite take the chances.
Last but not least, and we've done this game later on, this will probably have been my 3rd or 4th choice when I do the running order. And then I'll be honest with you, when I pick a running order, try and go interesting. I try and slot maybe a team that I've done something that haven't been top for a while. So maybe like a Northampton, today, Brady, obviously, well, Northampton normally later on in the list. Birmingham are normally higher. Birmingham won 2-0. 2-0 to Birmingham. Let's put them 8th or 7th. But I always try. I don't want to always do it like match day. I want to do it different orders. And look, this is a great result. I've done this for David. That's the reason today. He very kind. Huge result going away at Peterborough midweek. Now, one thing I'll say on Peterborough, I look at their squad and I only think maybe 4 or 5 of those players are good enough if they want a challenge to get promoted this year. I think Peterborough will finish 10 points. Actually, maybe 12. I'll go with 10. 10 points offside the playoffs. I think Peterborough will finish. I think they're that far off. I genuinely think they are miles off it. You take Poco out that team, they are a side in the bottom 6, bottom 8 this year. Defensively, Katongo, Walling, Nevitt and Curtis are bottom 6 this division. I think Collins, Odo, Poku, all some of the shining lights. Even the likes of Kearney's couldn't even get a game for Fleetwood last year. Let's be honest, and he was one of the players he brought in. However, take nothing away from Burton Albion, who went away with 29% of possession and won the game 1-0 and limited Peterborough to 1 shot on target. And look, Peterborough had a lot of set plays. I bet David was in that away end. Every corner, I think they had 11 corners. Every cross that was coming in, he was, here we go again, head away. Defensively, that's what they need. And now they've won that, they need to go and back it up. They've got Wrexham and Leyton Orient coming up. They need to try, and if you go and get 2, maybe 3 points, 4 points from those 2 draws, I think that'd be decent. I genuinely, they'd like a win, but if you're going to lose on Saturday, don't lose heavily. Try and get a point and maybe win at Orient if you can. They did it last year under the Martin Patterson era, where they went back-to-back, where they went away at Bristol Rovers and went away at Leyton Orient. They practically kept them. And after that, they didn't win for about 15 games until they beat Reading and Stevenage.
They had a great week in training that week, Ben, didn't they?
Yeah, they had a great week in training. Non-negotiable. They had non-negotiable. Still no closer to a manager, but great result. 1-0 away from home. The good news, they've won. The bad news, you're still 7 points adrift.
Yeah. Peterborough poor, really poor. And look, that helps when the best player got taken off after 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Kwame Poku. I think if Kwame Poku had stayed on the pitch, and I know I've had this chat with David already today, he's saying he was non-existent in those 20 minutes, but Poku is the sort of player that turns it on in 5 seconds, isn't he, and changes the game when he wants to. So I think him going off sort of played into Burton's hands a little bit. But you have to give Burton credit. Peterborough's not an easy place to go. Thanks, David. Peterborough's not an easy place to go. They make it difficult for you. They're young attacking talent, and they do test you at times. They test you on the top line. And the Crocombe handball, I mean, it was pretty obvious, wasn't it? Do you know what, Ben? I don't know if you would have seen the goal because you've watched it, I'm sure. But that ball from, go on, Ben, what's his name? Do I tell you?
Colin. I'm on the right line. Kalinowski. Kalinowskis.
Repeat. Cal. In. Aus. Kuss.
Kalinowskis.
You still said it wrong.
Kalinowskis.
All over again.
Kalinowskis.
There we are. Anyway.
I'm on, mate. We've got there. I hate Burton. Stop signing these. Burton Albion, you've changed. Go and sign. John Taylor. Johnny Smith, you've changed. Dale Taylor. Jeff Maltby. Here, Lancashire Pub Quiz champion.
Just sign British players because you're a British club. Stop trying to be different.
Charlie, you're Charlie and proud. You're not Moretti.
Listen, it was a really good ball anyway from Kalinowskis. That's a really good reference, Charlie. Actually, I rate that.
Yeah.
It's a really good outsider. And Mason Bennett, we've seen it before. I mean, I saw it when he was at Derby. A really good finisher in front of goal. When he's not in trouble off the football pitch, it shows you miraculously what you can do. So yeah, they typical away performance, backs against the wall, but they got the result. And to have a win away at Peterborough. I mean, I was talking to David earlier this week, and he was dreading going. We were saying it was going to be 6-0, maybe 8-0 to Peterborough. But they've gone there, got a really good win, and this will give them a lot of hope going into that Wrexham game, because I would have imagined if they'd have got pummeled last night, then going into that Wrexham game, you'd be thinking the worst. But maybe, just maybe, they can get something against Wrexham. You never know. So great performance from Burton. Typical away performance. Probably they're the best sort of performances, aren't they, Ben? When you go to a team where you shouldn't be,
Win 1-0.
You win 1-0. You've done it before. You know what I'm going to bring up now, don't you? You know exactly where I'm going with this.
I think as well, just to mention, we beaten Peterborough away Tuesday night, but we beat Peterborough 1-0. They are the best types of away wins, and also Burton's 100th away win in the EFL since 2009 as well. So a big result for them on the road. Back again. Right. We'll go for the League One table very quickly. There's 60 people in the chat. If you haven't liked it already, there's 46.
At the table until Christmas.
Oh, all right, then we won't. Just because you're not in the playoffs.
Wait, no need, is there? We're not looking at it while we're in the playoffs. Let's not look at it now. Thank you.
We'll be looking at it all season if that's the case.
If
you haven't already, we are 55 subscribers away from 16,000. It's been a tough few months. If you could just press subscribe if you haven't already, it's free to do so. This is your home of League One and League Two content. I think we've done 8 videos streamed in 8 days, with the membership videos. There's still another, I think, before the end of the year, 26 to come as well. So if you could subscribe, press it down below, and also like the stream as well, because I'd love to hit 16,000 subscribers by this weekend as well. Right. Predictions time. Get us some League One questions in the comment section below as well, and we'll get answering them.
Can we just do our predict, and then I'll do a big week on Sunday, because I've not added our scores up yet. So do you mind if we just go through Saturday's games, and then we'll do a big one on Sunday? Cool.
That's fine.
Right.
That's fine. You've had one job. Don't get me wrong. You had one job.
I've had more than one job. Thanks.
Yeah, of course you have.
I have a full-time job, Ben. Actually,
as
it goes. Being your assistant. So shut up.
I am trying to replace you at that, but no, I'm okay on.
Sorting you out for your trip to Lincoln next weekend. That's what I've been doing.
I think
I'm first. I'm first this week, aren't I? It's me to go first. Early kickoff. Leyton. Yeah, don't give me that face. You did it on Tuesday. Wigan versus Leyton Orient. God, that's not a good game, is it? Oh, I'm going to go Wigan 1, Orient 1.
Wigan 0, Leyton Orient 1.
Ooh. Biggest game, we might as well call it a rest after this. Lincoln versus Charlton. My score prediction, Lincoln 0, Charlton Athletic 0. Early kickoffs.
Lincoln.
Don't you start predicting us to win again, Ben. Yes, thank you, because we have won. You predicted us to win the last couple of weeks, and we've lost. So if you can start predicting us to not win, I'd appreciate that. Crawley versus Stevenage at Crawley.
I know what you're going to say.
I'm going to go so reactionary. Crawley 2, Stevenage 0. Come on, the Crawley.
Crawley 2, Stevenage 1. But what you guys like? The predicting the boys to lose. Come on, the boys, I believe.
Blackpool versus Rotherham. At Blackpool. Blackpool 2, Rotherham 1.
You utter scum. 2-1, Blackpool.
Cheers, mate. I just said 2-1 Blackpool.
2-0 Blackpool.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Weirdo.
Nearly.
Guess who's next, Ben?
What?
Guess who's next? They're playing against Bolton.
Bristol
Rovers! Come on! Yeah. Bristol Rovers versus Bolton. Bristol Rovers 0, Bolton Wanderers DOS. Bolton 2.
Bristol Rovers 1, Bolton 3.
Burton Albion versus Wrexham. Oh, I've just said they maybe get a result. Burton Albion 1, Wrexham 2.
Burton 1, Wrexham 1.
Oh. Barnsley versus Blues at Oakwell. I'm going to go Barnsley 0, Birmingham City 3.
2-0 Birmingham.
Mansfield Town versus Huddersfield Town, the battle of the towns. Mansfield 1, Huddersfield 1.
Mansfield 0, Huddersfield 1.
God, we're so original. Cambridge versus Shrewsbury, massive game at the Abbey. Do you know what? A couple of weeks ago, I said Cambridge would absolutely walk this. But we predicted Shrewsbury to win midweek and they didn't. Cambridge 1, Shrewsbury 1.
Cambridge 0, Shrewsbury 1.
Oh, he's still on the Gareth McCauley train. Gareth McCauley?
Ainsworth.
Gareth McCauley used to play for Lincoln. What on, it's only Gareth
Beep,
Ainsworth.
beep, beep, beep,
Uh,
beep, beep.
yeah. Do you know who Gareth McCauley is?
Do
Do you know who Gareth McCauley is?
Was he a centre half for Lincoln?
Yeah, do you know who he played for?
Yeah, Lincoln.
Yeah, and played in the Premier League for West Brom for about 10 years.
Oh, yeah, Macaulay, yeah.
Stockport versus Exeter.
I don't watch Premier League football.
Stockport 2, Exeter 0.
What did you say? 2-0?
I did.
2-1. Stockport.
Wycombe Reading. I'm going to go Wycombe 3, Reading 1.
Reading beat Wycombe last year, didn't they? Away from home, which was the
They
first
did.
result in 359 days away from home.
It's bad news, Nappers. We've both been sent off.
2-1 Wycombe.
And then finally, on the Monday night, the battle for the River Nen or the River Nene, depending on what part of the country you're from, Northampton Town versus Peterborough. I'm going to go Northampton 1, Peterborough 0.
So you're going for the same scoreline as it was last year at the end of August.
I'm not going to go for. I'm not going to go for the dramatic.
Northampton won 1-0 this last year. I remember that.
Yeah, Mitch Pinnock scored from like the halfway line.
Yeah, Peterborough were pretty toothless in that game.
Yeah,
I'm going to go for 3-1 Northampton.
They are then. That's our predictions.
If you've got any questions you'd like to ask before we go, get them in down below. Yeah, Lincoln are still in the top 10, but yeah, I'm fed up at the moment, Jake, of football. To be fair, of Fleetwood, a little bit.
It's because you're rubbish, mate.
Yeah, I'm a bit.
Scoring goals though.
Well, we scored 2 against Doncaster, but we conceded 4. We had 2 shots on target yesterday, and we weren't great. The football's not great. That's my issue. That I don't enjoy watching us. And since Walsall away, for 6-8 weeks now, we've not looked right. And we've got lots of injuries, but we don't look right at all. I don't know. I wouldn't. Charlie's not under pressure at all. But
sorry, I don't understand what relevance this makes to a League One live, considering you're in League Two.
You're
sorry. What relevance?
You're a Rick. You're a Rick.
Nappers, what's this? Nappers, what's this say here? What league are Fleetwood in?
Can I just say how hot
yes
this is?
No, mate. That's all I'm saying.
I said to him, right, would you rather Lincoln City finish 9th, right, and Fleetwood stay up, or finish 8th? Sorry, you finish 8th, and Fleetwood go down. You went, us finish 8th.
Yeah.
I was like,
progression, mate. It's all about progression, isn't it? It's all about progression.
There's no progression at all from 8th to 9th. Come on.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is.
I'm missing.
Tell you what, mate, if we make progression this year, we will finish in the playoffs.
I miss League One so much. Really do.
There's some questions.
I'm struggling. I'm missing it. What do you think about Mr. Rowett coming home to the Brewers? I'll let you take that one on.
Oh my God, it's raining. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think Gary Rowett suits the style of football that Burton are trying to play. I think he's more of a direct style. So I don't know. He's a popular figure amongst Burton fans, absolutely. So I think that would be a nice thing for him. But I don't know. It just seems a bit. I feel like they could have gone for maybe a little bit more exciting.
Yeah. Can I just say, I met Robbie Savage, and still
You love him?
to this day follows on Twitter. He has been in the stream before as well. He's done very
He's
well
been in
at
the
stream before.
He's been in one of our streams.
Yeah, I'm one of my watch longs a few years ago.
Robbie Savage.
Yeah,
Robbie.
he commented.
Robbie, if you need an assistant manager for the gig at Northampton, let me know, mate. I know what I'm doing.
Look, he's done very well. No, he lost his first game last week. They've got the biggest budget in the league and the best team in the league, so they should be doing well. Yeah. But he's director there, and it'd have to be a good job. And Northampton's in League One for a short-term project. I don't know. He's been manager there since he's been there, let's be honest with you, although there's been other names there as well. So we'll be up for the Reading job and the Northampton one. Ooh, good questions. Skabala. I think Dina Maria for either job would work very well.
If you're in Reading, I don't think you're going to appoint Dina Maria.
I think more Northampton.
Yeah.
I would look at Reading. Where are they going to be able to appoint a new manager? Are they going to be able to attract?
Well, this is it. They'll probably have to get someone out of work. Maybe do you know what? Maybe someone like a Keith Curl or like
Lee Johnson.
Yeah, Lee Johnson, Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, someone out Mark Kentner. I won't wish that on my worst enemy.
Ian Holloway, get him
Mike
out.
Atherton, maybe at Reading.
Yeah.
A million mile away from Oxford where he's been before.
What can I say? I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Not looking forward to seeing him. Christ.
It's a weird thing to say about Flowers, Sue.
Jake, come on.
Only messing, Susan. Come on.
No, it's not on that. Not on. Right. Thanks so much for watching tonight's stream. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please like on your way out. Please subscribe. Jake, any final words, mate?
Sorry, Sue. Love you. Up the imps.
And up to Steve Evans. There we are. That one final time. I hope you have enjoyed it. Until next time, I will see you later. Lots of content coming, so make sure you're subscribed for all of the content coming to you over this Christmas period. Until next time, I'll see you later. What was your Spotify rap like, Jake?
My number one artist was The Weeknd. How about you?
My number one, I'll tell you mine.
I can't tell you my number one song because I'm so embarrassed by it.
Yeah, mine's awful. My number one song is awful.
Oh, I can't play it. Can I
no, don't play it. Do not play it. Do not play it.
I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint on my number one song this year.
Tell me the song.
Right?
Tell us the song.
It's used in a darts walk-on.
Shut up and dance with me.
No, that's your song.
Is it Luke Little's?
My
top five artists are Cortinas, Oasis, The Pigeon Detectives, Madness, and the fifth one I'm very embarrassed about, Scouting for Girls.
Right? That's not bad.
My top five songs, however, are very embarrassing. Murder on the Dance Floor somehow snuck in. Together in Electric Dreams is in. Gimme Shelter, Rolling Stones, Forever in Blue Jeans, and the number one, Shut Up and Dance With Me.
There's the surprise.
I Shut Up and Dance With Me 171 times this year, apparently. That's how much which is embarrassing, isn't it? And I also stream Cortinas for 29 days in a row. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know your Spotify apps in the comment section below. Good night. God bless.